What's going on, Pops? We never did get a chance to continue that conversation we last had. Last time we saw each other back in 2006, October 21st to the 28th. I remember like it was yesterday still. Oh, it was so crazy. I remember you coming to my job right after I had gotten off the phone with Mom, calling me to tell me about how she had just filed for divorce to you. And me just being absolutely like dumbfounded, having the conversation I had with her, articulating the understanding of the danger that the situation posed to her, to me, to Angela, to yourself. It was weird though. It really seemed as if I was the only one that actually remembered every emphatic statement you made every time you made it, almost playing in my head. If the family ever broke up, I would just take you all out. If your mother ever leaves me, I'll just kill everyone. I mean, those were some pretty intense words growing up. And all of a sudden, age 25, I find myself in the position of going to go through the experience of those words coming to fruition. So you show up to my job as intense as all hell. I freeze. My guys behind the register, literally having just counted out the drawer for the night, about to close the store. Cash register in hand. I'm looking to the left, watching you walk from the door all the way to the back. You walk into the back, make your way to the office just to see if anybody was there. You walk all the way back to the door, bend down and lock it. And now I'm locked in this GNC store with the man that I knew had the mindset that you had. I remember telling you very quickly, look, Pops, I just got off the phone with her. I have no fucking clue what the hell's going on. She just told me she left you. She told me she filed for a divorce. Dad, like I haven't seen the family in 2 years. I literally asked her where she was and where she was living, and she said she would not tell me because she didn't want me to tell you. That's all I know. You paused, and you said, finish up. You're coming home with me. And I didn't argue it. Finishing up, I get into the car with you, and the ride back was complete silence. For me, having gone with you with no pushback wasn't necessarily out of the fear entirely, but more so because whether you knew it or not, I believe that what had just happened to you was a really fucked thing to you. So I was understanding like you were in a shitty position and you needed somebody to be there, and I chose to go along. During that ride though, all I can keep replaying was every moment, every year you would say that same phrase over and over and over again, and trying to keep my composure. We get to the house, we go upstairs, we sit down. We didn't talk for like half hour, 40 more minutes. We just sat there in silence until I finally started talking. And halfway through my second or third sentence, you interrupt me and you tell me to call her, get her on the phone. I was like, okay, I'm going to try. And I called her, and she answered, and I told her the situation, and you asked to talk to her, and she's like, no, 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 no. And basically said goodnight, hung up. At this point in time, it was like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I remember noticing the intense, non facial expression that was on you. Like you were just stone cold. There was nothing I could read or perceive off you. I remember you saying, go take your sister's room, sister's bed. I'll see you tomorrow. I remember going into the bedroom, going, damn, I haven't been here in 2 years. And sitting on the bed. After a while, I finally laid down. And the last thoughts that ran through my head before I fell asleep was, I don't even know if I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I mean, there was an extremely high likelihood that you were going to take me out in the middle of the night. There was no doubt that the potential was there. But something inside of me was also fighting for the understanding that, like, I sided with you being dicked in the manner in which everything unfolded. I didn't see you as a threat. I saw you as a victim, but as a fucking victim that I needed to fear. I remember the next 2 days, the small amount of time I would get mom on the phone was like, the highlight, and then the rest of the day was literally just me and you talking, and more so me telling you my perspective of the situation. I'll never forget that second day, man. It was getting, a little late, and you just got so fucking pissed at me sitting there saying how she dicked you, how she fucked you, how your daughter screwed you over, how your daughter manipulated the situation, how your wife believed this, and yada, 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 yada. I remember that was the first time you transitioned from the face that didn't show anything to a very extreme, don't fucking talk about my wife that way. That night was even harder to not think of what you may do in the middle of the night. But still, that sensational drive of feeling that something more needed to be expressed to you, that you needed to understand what it was that I saw you in the situation as. A third day, you would not even let me open my mouth to talk anything bad about mom. You sat there and you chopped me down every fucking time to the point of threatening me. And at that moment, it was when I understood, like, the 2 remaining guns in the house were behind the fridge that were just 3 feet away from you. You knew that. I knew that. I'm sitting there trying to articulate a point to you that I wasn't getting across to you because you were so fucking loyal to your wife. You couldn't listen to reason. And being your son, I was going to do whatever the fuck it took to get my point across because it was important. You were important. So against better judgment, against understanding the severity of the situation, understanding the hair that held you from doing anything crazy, I pushed and pushed and pushed until you exploded, decided to step back, went to the bathroom, And it was during this break that I was like, damn, dude, I gotta fucking figure out how to fucking prove this to him. He doesn't want to see it because he'll never see my mother as a bad person. That's how much he loves her. Holy shit. How? Oh, I got it. And when you came out of the bathroom, I had my back to you and I had the phone on speakerphone. You heard it ringing. Mom answered the phone. I could have said, hey, Mom, look, I can't talk for too long. Dad's in the bathroom. But listen, you gotta help me. Mom, Dad's got the guns and he's fucking going nuts. He's threatening to fucking kill me. Mom, please, I need help. I can't get out of the house. And I put the speakerphone as loud as I could. And she said, oh, Spiro, don't worry. Your father's not going to do anything to you. You're fine. Mom, what the fuck are you talking about? I watched him load the goddamn gun. He's going to come after me. He's going to kill me. Mom, please call the police. As intensely as I could say it to her. Spiraikimo, listen, your father's not going to do anything. You're perfectly fine. Okay? I have to go. Give me a call tomorrow. Okay, sweetheart? Bye. Click. I remember turning around and seeing you. And for the first time in my life, I saw you dumbstruck. I saw you stupefied. Jaw, just not in belief of what you just heard your wife say, that you would have never believed she would have said. Instantly switching your understanding of what your son had just been trying to do for the last 2 days. And you were just in such a state of shock, like, I saw it, I was like, holy shit. You sat down kind of wobbly. I sat down after you. And then I leaned in, I was like, Pops, I'm sorry. I understand that I don't understand how this feels to you, but I'm sorry, I needed to show you. I didn't know how else to get you to believe it. Like, Mom has not been acting like herself. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Like, Dad, you don't even know, like, she's been planning this from what you told me for weeks. What do you mean? I'm like, Pops, did you check the damn closet? Yeah, all her stuff is still there. No, Dad, all of her boxes and all of her garment bags are still there, but none of the shit's inside. She moved everything in front of you. He got up, went to the closet, came out even more dumbstruck. At that point is when he realized, like, holy shit, like, I don't understand anything here. I saw this all differently. After that, the preceding 3 days that we would have leading up to the 7 days total, those 3 days would end up being the best 3 days I can believe enough to say for you and me that those were the 3 best days we ever had with each other, ever. I mean, profoundly had with each other. We were on a level of communication I didn't think possible, let alone to actually have it happen. For the first time in my life at age 25, I recognized a father that was showing me that he saw me, that he heard me, and that he was listening to me. It was incredible. For the first time in my life, I saw my father as a man with emotions. A man who, when I sat there and told you, Dad, bro, fuck this whole situation. You're a goddamn good-looking man. You got money. You got this. You got that. You'll get back on your feet. And you chuckled. And I was like, what the fuck? And you're like, Spiro, you don't understand. Without her, there is no life. I love your mother. And that's the end of it. Please don't bring that up again. That was the most heartfelt expression of love that I've ever heard from anybody, let alone to come from your mouth. I was like, holy shit. I remember the questions you were asking me. I remember the apologies you gave me. I remember the smiles we shared and the laughs we had. And for those 3 days, you didn't think about mom and I didn't think about mom. It was just father and son. Best moments of my life with you. I will cherish them and have cherished them forever. Then came the moment where you asked me if I wanted to go home. Now, mind you, technically speaking, I had been kidnapped and I was missing for a fucking week. My job didn't know. The only people that knew were my mom, my sister. Nobody was worried. No cops got called. I mean, fuck Spiro, who cares? But technically, this is what happened. This is what I was enduring. You ended up driving me back to Manhattan and brought me to my apartment. I remember you stopping, putting it in park, looking at me and taking off your ring that you had gotten from Mexico when you went with mom. I said, I want you to have this because of how proud I am. Of how you stood in your truth about your mom. I understand it wasn't easy for you to do that with me. And I understand what I was going to do to you if you kept doing it that way. Thank you, you said. Here. I remember hugging you, giving you a kiss on the cheek, telling you I love you. And you asking me if I wanted to get lunch the next day. I said, fuck yeah. And that was it. I never saw you again. At least not alive. As soon as I got to my apartment, went into my bedroom. Now, mind you, I lived in Spanish Harlem. I was in the Spanish projects on the 20th floor. It was so awesome that in my bedroom, I could hit the ceiling 3 times with a broomstick. And my boy Tito, whose bedroom was right up there, would come down and he'd be like, yo, man, how much you want? I'd be like, the usual. And he'd give me 6 grams, 7 grams of coke. And I just blew them throughout the night. I remember being coked out up until the next morning with Chris. I needed to get out of my head. And I remember you calling at 11:30 and I knew it was you. And I was like, nope, too coked. Didn't answer the phone. And then it was like 20 minutes later, less than a half hour later, we got a call at the house. And the police are telling my roommate that you had done what you did with mom and yourself. You know, they say when a person has healed from trauma, they can laugh at it. And I mean, it's definitely a much better feeling to have than the feelings that I endured at the time. Your actions in a reactive manner to mom's initiation of her divorce towards you would ultimately put me on a path that would absolutely change my life and some. I wanted to say thank you because the things that I learned, the events I overcame, the aspects of character that I embody, who I am fundamentally, what I choose to represent and express as a man, pretty much everything that makes me me, it all came from you. All of it. the love, the loyalty, the support, the unwavering dedication, the willingness to self-sacrifice, just everything that I never understood for a while that had definitely come from you was all from you. I got to see a side of you that your wife, your other daughter, your parents, your siblings, your best friends, your coworkers, none of them would ever have the privilege to experience. And I don't take that lightly, Dad. I really don't. That was an incredible time to have with you. And even though things ended in the manner in which they did, I understand that it was always meant to end in that way or in my demise and you going to jail. Your last act on this earth, besides taking your own life, was removing an aspect of a threat in my life that you didn't even know about. I know undeniably in your mind the event that unfolded was nothing more than the only fucking person that I know to date that has ever kept his vow and promise to God when you married your wife. You took till death do us part so profoundly, sincerely, and like there's no way I'm breaking this, that you not only put your wife's life up, but your own as well. Bro, you raised the bar for me in a manner of speaking that was just so wow, that I had never seen you in that light before, first off, and then I'm seeing now how everything actually was, and just perceiving the shit that you had done and how you backed up everything you believed and meant and said the way you did. Oh man, you became my hero. Like it was done. There was nobody that could come close to you. You were already fucking Superman to me. But then to see Superman and the most honorable fucking like dependable fucking God promise keeping man, vow keeping man I have ever, like I said, met, known, experienced. Dad, you're the only person that's ever done that I know of. And I'm telling you that I'm proud of you for that because you kept the most important fucking promise that you made to God. And God didn't punish you. God didn't turn his back on you. God didn't send you down in all this bullshit. God allowed you to enter. The only thing was the manner in which you left and the manner in which your daughter and the preceding females that lined up with her purposefully orchestrated in showing people what you were as this monster, as this estranged husband that was out of his mind, as this beyond abusive person and blah, fucking blah, blah, this depiction that was just fucking false. That's the energy you left this plane with. And God couldn't do anything about that. I mean, he could, but wasn't part of the deal. Even though you left in the most honorable way you could have, you were painted in the most dishonorable manner possible. You never even knew that your wife was a narcissist. Like, your entire relationship with her, you never understood that. And none of us did. I mean, she was a covert narcissist to the T. And the aspects in which I was able to conclude this was from everything that I went through after both of your passings and the preceding introspective growth I would attain from processing that over the course of 14 years. I'm not making this about Mom or Angela or even me that much. It's about you. I want to honor my father, the man who made me go from literally running away from New York to run away from the label like father, like son that everybody would have placed upon me, to only find myself in the future in Colorado realizing how wrong I was for doing that, and then embracing that exact title with such profound joy and aspect of intensity and understanding of what that meant. Like, to put myself next to a man like you was fuck, dude. Like, yeah. Nobody showed any respect for you. Not your family, not your workers, not the people you were making money for, not a goddamn person other than me. I was the only fucking person who chose to not do that. When, for all intents and purposes, I had every right to choose to not really see you or like you, given our past history. The choices I made because of that feeling, because of that understanding of what you were, my father, and what my mother was, my mother, and how I didn't want to see this as my father's a monster, my mother's a victim, and blah, blah, blah. I fucking chose to do what a fucking Aquarius does, and I went emphatically on my own path and chose to say, fuck it, I want to see them both in love. I value my life, and if my life has value, then that value is divided by 2 and given equally to both of you. I'm not going to sit here and fucking see my father and my mother in the aspect of the outcome of a split-second decision. For your entire life, you were this, and in that split second, you became this, and all of a sudden, that's all you were, was this to everybody. When everybody left your body at the hospital, I went back the next day and got it. I remember telling the doctors, I want you to send his body to my mother's funeral home. Their faces dropped, like, what are you talking about? I'm like, just listen to me and just do what I'm fucking telling you to do. I don't need to explain myself to you. Okay, I don't think it's a good idea, but sure, whatever you want. And for them to send you. For me to go to the funeral home before you got there and to find the director and to tell him, hey, they're dropping him off. I want you to put him next to my mom. I want to see them side by side. And for the funeral director to sit there and be like, are you fucking crazy? What, do you fucking hate your mother? How fucking disrespectful you? And I'm like, dude, like, are you going to do this for me or are you going to fuck this over for me? I need to know if I'm going to be able to trust that you're not going to say anything. Yeah, okay. And he was just livid with the whole situation. You get there. He places you next to her. He tells me when I get to walk back there, well, there was like 200, 250 people at the funeral home. I get to open the door, and as soon as I open the door, Mom's to the right, you're to the left. Your hands are like this, coming out from the sheets. I stopped dead in my tracks. I didn't even go all the way inside. I didn't know that the funeral director and 2 employees were there and they could hear me. And I just started talking. I said, Mom and Dad, I love you. And I'm so sorry this happened. I said, but I could not do what everybody else was doing. I don't want to see you in any other way than the 27 years I got to experience with you guys and this state of love. I love you, Dad, and I love you, Mom. And Dad, this was the best that I can do before you guys part forever. I hope it's okay. I tried to hold back the tears as much as I could. I said one more, I love you. And then I walked away. Walking towards the crowd again, I remember somebody tapping me on the back, and I turned around, and the director is tearing, crying. And he was just like, I am so sorry for what I said before. In my such and such years of working here, I've never seen a son do what you just did for your parents. That was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And the other guys were just dumbfounded too. And I'm in my head still, so I'm not really connecting with this. I remember him crying, but I didn't click with him. I'm like, yeah, we're good, man, we're good. In that very instant, another worker that wasn't told not to say anything accidentally let it slip that I had brought you there. So preemptively, I get up on a chair and I get everybody's attention. And I'm sitting there going, I've already planned for this. I was willing to risk losing everybody to do this because that's how important it was to me. So I said, fuck it, I'm just going to express my truth. They shouldn't hate me for that. Hey, everybody, I just want to let you know, look, I understand that we have had a tragic loss here and that everybody here understands that loss and its impact. But to me, I didn't lose a mother. I lost a mother and a father. And I have both of them to thank for my life. And because of this life, I had to give thanks to both of them equally. My father is back there next to my mother, and I brought him here intentionally because I wanted to say goodbye to them in love. I hope it's okay. I didn't mean any disrespect. And then I couldn't even finish the next sentence, and everybody starts fucking wailing out. What the fuck? You're just as bad as your father. You killed your mother all over. Dude, I heard some of the most stupid fucking comments. No matter what grieving process you were in, the things that I heard in rebuttal to what I expressed from love just did not match. The days I spent with you, those 3 days, touched me so profoundly. The love that you expressed for your wife was so beautiful. It was you that allowed my actions to happen. Okay? I don't know if I would have been strong enough to go against the entire family just to show that kind of love. Like I said, Dad, you changed me those 3 days. And it was the best fucking decision I have ever made in my life. To back you and your wife up together equally. To show you the love that I could show. And to give you as much time with your wife as I could before she went to the grave and I was going to have you cremated. You helped make a son that came from such a purity of heart space that I haven't come across anybody that can even touch that story, and that's not even the full story. Like, Pops, anything I accomplished that day of any magnitude came from you entirely. I just embodied it for the first time, and I got put to the test. I know 3 days doesn't seem like a lot for a 25-year-old to ever say were the best days he had with him. I wish I could have had so much more, but at the same time, those 3 days were just a fucking gift amongst gifts. It was, for me, ultimately, because I didn't know it was coming, but at the time it was just both of us. Thank you for being the man that you always stood true to be. Thank you for being the model that I grew up observing and recording and putting into my subconscious. Thank you for setting the bar so profoundly high as to merit me having to go through a spiritual awakening just to touch the bar. I love you, and I know you're proud of me. And just wait. Watch what happens the next 20 years. I love you. Tell Mom I said hi. Bye.